Hey guys, just finished watching Black Lightning, Season 1, Episode 10, Sins of the Father, the Book of Redemption. This episode was interesting. I mean, it was quite fun. I mean, it was an okay episode. I give this episode probably about a 7 or a 6.5 just because it was really just kind of nothing much happened in here. There was some cool stuff, but nothing really kind of shocking and stuff in the ending, which is like, okay, it just feels like we're kind of like stretching out this stuff and nothing is really happening. Like, we have Black Lightning and Thunder going after the 100, going after the ASA and all that stuff, but not too much really happens with this stuff. They find the bodies, they find these people in these tubes, but nothing really happens with that. It doesn't go anywhere. So we start off the episode with Thunder finds the people in the tubes and stuff, and Lala ends up ripping off one of his boys' ear off and then kills him. That was really cool with that. Lala was kind of fun with here. And then we get to... Then they get back, and when Black Lightning and Thunder go back to look for the kids, they've been moved, and it's like, of course, they saw that you were there, and then they moved everything. Of course they did. And then when they're there, they get ambushed, and Black Lightning makes a shield and stuff, starts attacking everyone, and then he kind of makes like a steps for her for Thunder to kind of do a flip, then land and hit, and it was really weird because she did a flip, she landed and then smacked the ground, and expected there to be a big crater there, and then the shockwave to be, doing stuff, but yet, there's nothing happened. She lands down and hits the ground, which I thought she was going to use the force of the flip, which she didn't. She kind of like land then hit the ground, which is like, okay, why did the flip then in the first place unless you're going to use that momentum to make the hit, use your whole body as the whole hitting part. That didn't make sense. And then when she hit, there was just a shockwave, and it just took me right out of the scene, because it was like we've been setting up her powers to be way more destructive than that. Her power, based on her power set, should have almost taken down the building. I get that's not gonna happen. But, it would have made more sense at least to have some sort of, crater in the ground, making the building kind of unstable, and then they run out of the building, and then it comes down on it or something like that. I think that would have made more sense. It just didn't make sense to me that she would hit the ground like that, and it would just be a shockwave. When they've clearly been setting it up before. Like we had, was it last week's episode or the one before, when they were trying to get into the to look at the dead body that were attacked by those the Electricons who Black Lightning was blamed for killing. And she tries to she just taps it, and it cracks the brick, and she punches it, and it breaks the brick down. Even right at the end of this scene, Thunder just kind of goes and runs right through a wall, and is destructive to the wall. So it's kind of weird, because if she has been doing this, if her powers were kind of like shockwaves and all that stuff, then it would have been like, okay, but then that means, in that way, if you're looking at her powers that way, when she ran into the wall at the end of it, she should have just bounced off of it type thing and just kind of ricocheted off it. But no, she's a more destructive thing. So I don't understand why there wasn't a big crater or at least a crack in the ground that would have made sense. Kind of like she hits it and then you just see cracks in the ground, at least trails of cracks in the concrete towards the guys that she was aiming at. I think that would have made more sense. Kind of. It just took me out of the episode, especially when they've set it up. So her set up her power such a way, and then all of a sudden they just do it a different way for no reason, no explanation, no nothing, and it just doesn't make sense. So that was kind of annoying with that. And then we get Jennifer. It starts burning up. It looks like she kind of goes full on fire and stuff, and it looks like it's going to be cool to see that, because in the comics, if I'm not mistaken, she doesn't really have a costume. She just kind of lights herself on fire, and she becomes full. Her powers are pretty much her costume type thing, kind of like Johnny Storm. The Human Torch and stuff. So it's really going to be cool to play with that. I can't wait to play with how those things go for different situations. I really hope we get to see a scene maybe where now that the ASA knows that Jefferson Pierce is Black Lightning, there'll be a scene where they get Jennifer and she can use her powers where she has no choice type thing. I think that would be fun to play with that. So then Gambi gets beat up by the ASA, and the ASA gets Jefferson Pierce, but Jefferson kind of saves him. And then we get Kara Fody, the vice principal at Freeland High. His right hand man, vice principal at his school, is the spotter for the ASA. And then we get in the trailers for next week's episode. It looks like Black Lightning's gonna get arrested, and that to me is kind of weird that he's getting arrested in next week's episode, because what are they using? What is their proof that he's Black Lightning? Yeah, the ASA, this government organization, is knows that he's Black Lightning, but are they just gonna tell like the other police officers, like their local PD? Are they just gonna tell Henderson? He's like, oh yeah, we threatened this guy. We beat him up. We pointed a gun at him in a warehouse and threatened his life. And then he defended himself and in so he revealed that he was Black Lightning. Like, what are they going to do? Are they going to bring that into court type of thing? So I really don't understand where they have proof that he's Black Lightning that doesn't incriminate them themselves. And in doing so, they would also tell everyone that, hey, the ASA, we're here, we're doing something weird, shady. So it just seems like why would they go ahead and do that instead of just attacking his family, taking his Lynn hostage, taking it would be cool as if he took Jennifer hostage, and that's when when he's just about to kill her, her powers end up saving him. I think that would make a much more better setup than having Jefferson go to prison. Now, it would be cool to see that later on, an idea of seeing him go to prison, but I just think it would be much cooler to see, make more sense for them to just kind of, we're going to either throw you in jail or we're going to just, go after your daughter, because clearly this ASA, it's run by, Martin Proctor. He's clearly just a rogue agent, maybe doing some stuff, but he clearly is a rogue agent, and no one's really watching him or type thing, because the things that they're doing inside of the government agency, it just doesn't make sense at all. It's kind of a bit weird. So I just don't understand how they have, where do they get their proof that he's Black Lightning? That doesn't incriminate them, and on the other hand, also reveal their entire organization, the fact that it exists and it's in Freeland and they're doing something out there. They're obviously at the same time not hiding, because, 2-Bits is able to easily tell Black Lightning that there are some military transport vehicles around, which I don't know why they don't just get, regular trucks, and why do they have to be military trucks? Why are you advertising you're even there type thing in the first place? But I don't know. It's really kind of weird, all this stuff, and maybe the ASA don't care about coming out, but at the same time they still can't admit that they pointed a gun to him and threatened his life and almost killed Gamby. And that's their proof that he's Black Lightning type thing. What are they going to do? Show security footage of them, threatening him and pointing a gun at him, and them assaulting him and kind of torturing him? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. So we'll see how things go in the next episode. It could be fun, but it just, the whole premise, based on it, doesn't looks fake. Now maybe they'll come up with some sort of fake, some sort of like a different way to frame him and stuff that I could see happening. But at the same time, I don't see kind of ASA really coming out stepping into the spotlight on their own volition type thing. So we'll see where things go with this in the next week's episode. It's going to be interesting to see where things go with it. But this episode, there's a few things that kind of bothered me with that, in this episode. So that's why I guess I'm going to give this one more of a 6.5 than a 7. In here, especially that flip, it just kind of took me out of the episode. But hopefully we can get an episode with Jennifer using her powers. Like I said, maybe the ESA goes after, gets Jennifer, picks her up, abducts her, or Jennifer and Lynn type thing. And then, that's where Jennifer is like, Jennifer realizes that if she doesn't use her powers, her mother's going to die. And I think that could be a cool thing to motivate her to be a savior type thing, or to use her powers at least. And I think that could be a real cool thing to see what would happen with that. And I think it'd be really cool to see how things go with Jennifer and her powers. So all in all, this episode was okay. There's some plot holes there and things that didn't make sense, but otherwise it's okay. Hopefully they just have a better explanation than what it looks like going in for next week's episode, because it looks kind of flawed from the get-go. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. Season 1, episode 10 of Black Lightning, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.